We are ready to go. Let's get the party started. It's 7 o'clock, and it's, March 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day. And we are the Clayton City Council, and we're ready to go. We're going to switch things up based on the agenda now. We're going to do roll call first. So, Janet, if you would, please.
Sure. Councilmember Diaz.
Present.
Councilmember Tillman.
Here.
Vice Mayor Cloven.
Here.
Mayor Wolf.
I'm here.
And
Sure.
I would like to note I've received notification that Councilmember Juan is unable to attend this evening's City Council meeting for the record.
That is what I understand. Okay, so we shall proceed. And now we will do our video.
Due to COVID-19, this meeting will be conducted as a Zoom webinar pursuant to the provisions of the Governor's Executive Order N-2920, which suspends certain requirements of the Brown Act. This meeting is being webcast on the City of Clayton's website. The mayor will call upon its council, presenters, staff, and other speakers by name and ask that they speak clearly and state their name before giving comments or remarks. Persons participating via webcast and Zoom with their cameras enabled are reminded that their activities are visible to viewers. Members of the public participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature or dial *9 and the mayor will call upon them at the appropriate time. Telephone attendees will be called upon by the last 4 digits of their phone number. It is requested that public speakers state their name, but providing such information is voluntary. Written public comments received by Clayton City Clerk by 5 p.m. today will be entered into the record, but will not be read out loud. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they are free to do so and should raise their hand and the mayor will call upon them at the appropriate time. A roll call vote will be taken for all action items. The chat feature is not active. In order to get the full Zoom experience, please make sure your application is up to date.
All right, there we go. All right, then we're going to go on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Councilmember Diaz to take that.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Diaz. All right, we're moving on to item number 4, which is the consent calendar. Does anybody have something they would like to pull or discuss here? Excuse me. I don't see any of the council members jumping at that, so we'll go to staff or to the public. Anybody have a comment or question about the consent calendar? Janet, anybody?
Mayor Wolf, I do not have any hands raised.
I saw Raina doing her Carol Burnett impression there. That was very good. Okay, so we'll close that out and ask for a motion on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Get off mute. I'll
I was
second it.
on mute.
I think we all were.
So do we have? Do we technically have a first by Cloven and a second by Diaz? Is that what happened?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
fine.
And now let's call the vote, Janet.
All right, Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cloven.
Aye.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now we'll go on to our recognitions and presentations. And today we actually have some. So that's great. We have the certificates of recognition to the public school students exemplifying the do the right thing character trait of integrity during the month of March 2021. March 2021 originally is the Integrity Month along with April, but after meeting with the principals, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We'll do a different trait for April and another for May for this year, and then we'll see what happens with our schools and get back to a regular schedule in September. So, oh, wait a minute. I see Ms. Sanchez is here from Mount Diablo Elementary, so we'll let her go first then. And then there's Principal Fong there too from the middle school. So, hello, Ms. Sanchez. Welcome to the City Council meeting.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Will you be reading us a bedtime story now? Are you reading us a bedtime story?
No, but yours was widely appreciated, and it was definitely one of the most elaborate and just exciting ones. So thank you for that. The kids enjoyed it. I know my boys did for sure, and they're not even my students. So
that's great. It was a lot of fun. Okay,
yes.
So we have the character trait of integrity, and you have a couple of students to introduce to us. Are they with us? I see. Yeah, it looks like they may be. Yes, no?
I think they are. I have asked their teachers if I could talk for them because I've never gotten to do this before. So I was like, let me talk at the board meeting. And this is a good thing. So I appreciate also that they're going first because I know it's already 7:00. So I thank you for that. I do have two. I'm going to start with Emma first. And Emma comes to us from, and correct me if I'm wrong, Emma, but Emma is in Miss Grispo's 5th grade class. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. I have a few teachers. Is in Miss Grispo's 5th grade class. Emma is consistent, demonstrates integrity by always giving her best effort in all of her assignments during distance learning. She pays attention in class, asks amazing questions, and produces incredible work. Despite the challenges of distance learning, Emma's integrity has allowed her to succeed and accomplish amazing things. So congratulations, Emma.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Emma. Fantastic. And
okay, and then you want me to read the second one?
You have another one too, yes.
I do. Yes, I do. Our second student is from Miss Fail's 4th grade class. Dalen is a conscientious student that has a love of learning and a drive to always do her best. She is the type of student that asks for help anytime she is unsure and loves to help others when she knows the answer. She is the type of student that can be counted on to participate even if she is unsure that she has the right answer. She knows that school is important and makes sure that she is getting all that she can from the lessons and the work and builds upon that. It is a joy and pleasure to have her in my class this year, and I am grateful for her diligence and her love of learning. And that's from Ms. Fail. So great job, Dalen.
And that's Dalen Chippero, right?
Yes, yes.
It just happens to be the daughter of our Planning Commission chairperson.
Oh, who knew?
There you go. It was great to see both names come through today. Congratulations to the students. And we will be having all of our council members sign your certificate, and we'll be getting that to your principal, and they will hand it out to you. So congratulations to Emma and Dalen. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. We really appreciate it. And we're going to move on now to the middle school, and we see our new principal there. Principal Fong from the middle school is with us, and he has some students to introduce from the middle school.
Mute myself. Good evening, esteemed council members, Mayor Wolf and Vice Mayor Cloven. It gives me a great amount of just pride and honor to be able to introduce you to Yosef Saki, Corinne Jandur, and Ruby Nunez. They are all in 8th grade. And I can just say they're all incredible students. They've been just working really hard during distance learning. Let me see. So let me start. Well, Ruby is extremely positive daily. She's kind, helpful, always does her personal best. And she's just been very respectful during class. and caring, and she's really persevered during this distance learning time. So her teacher and aides just had wonderful things to say about her. For Joseph and Corinne, they actually have a very similar story. So we've had technical difficulties here and there on Zoom, and both of their teachers on separate occasions got kicked off of Zoom. And what happens is when you get kicked off of Zoom, it just randomly appoints whoever the first person was to be the host of the session. So, of course, Corinne and Joseph must have been our timely students on class first, ready and eager to learn, and then they became the hosts of the session. And I can tell you they must have overcome extreme, temptation, because when you're the host, you have access to all the participants. You could, end the class. You could kick your classmates out. You could, draw all over the whiteboard or do all kinds of goofy things or share things on the screen. And they didn't. Instead, Corinne, I know she reached out to her teacher. Joseph actually called the office and got a hold of me and said, hey, my teacher got kicked off of Zoom. When I actually logged in, the class was already going. He had pulled up the video they were supposed to be watching on Ocean Life and was facilitating class. Corinne did similar in her class with Miss Pelosi, and just extremely responsible and just did the right thing without being told. I mean, this was not a planned event, but both kids made great decisions. So my hat's off to both of them. And that's why they are being recognized for the trait of integrity.
Terrific. Well, congratulations to all of those students. Now I'm going to put a bunny nose filter on Mr. Fong because I have control. Oh, okay.
And may I add something? I'm happy to finally see a representative from Windmill Canyon. And by the way, I believe Corinne gets her technical expertise from her father, who I know very well. He's a neighbor. They're neighbors of mine. And I want to congratulate them, and Corinne especially, for adding some technical capability to Zoom. Jeff, you're doing well.
And now I understand all of the students are going to sing the City of Clayton theme song. So take it away, kids. All right, I'm kidding. All right. Well, congratulations one and all, and we will get your certificates to you. And we really appreciate you doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. Thank you, Mr. Fong. Thank you. And Ms. Sanchez as well. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Now we have a presentation from for the American Red Cross, and we have a guest speaker, Stan Massey, who's a board member of the American Red Cross and also Contra Costa Leadership Chair of the American Red Cross. So is Stan, there he is. Hi, Stan, welcome and congratulations on Red Cross Month.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor and fellow council members, and you took my introduction. So I am a Red Cross volunteer, and I am currently the chairman of the Contra Costa Leadership Council. And again, thank you for having us on the agenda tonight. So not only is Red Cross March Red Cross Month, but this March, as you know, marks the one-year anniversary of when the coronavirus officially became a global pandemic. So while facing unique challenges presented by the coronavirus outbreak, Red Crossers around the country continue working with compassion and determination to help people in need every day. In fact, you may remember back in August when the Deer Zone fires struck, which was really the start of all the fires in Northern California. Contra Costa, because of the Deer Zone fires, was struck first, and the city of Clayton immediately opened up the library for us to house people who were evacuated as a temporary evacuation point. So again, thank you very much for in the middle of the night opening up that library and allowing residents to take occupancy there until we could put them in hotels. So like many organizations, we've had to shift how we deliver our mission because of COVID-19. We've created new protocols to help keep everyone safe in this environment. And this has really been a team effort. We work closely with government and public health officials to ensure our safety and community and workforce. while still providing the hope when disaster strikes. During this time of social distancing, we're now providing some relief services virtually, like everyone else, including mental health support and financial assistance. Instead of opening shelters, we're prioritizing individual hotel rooms or dormitory-style rooms to make sure people are safe, like we did in the Deer Zone fires. So we put them up in temporary evacuation points where we register them, screen them, and then we quickly scurry around and find hotel rooms and partners with hotel rooms to place the clients in those rooms. We've also put in place additional safety precautions in case we need to open up a shelter. And in some cases, we still need to open up shelters, like during the Northern California fires in Santa Cruz, we had no, hotel rooms were very limited, so we had to open up shelters. So when we do open up those shelters, we take that very seriously with all the screening and all the COVID protocols. In addition, as you know, we're a huge biomed organization. I think we supply more than 50% of the nation's blood supply. So to ensure blood donor safety, we've implemented a lot of additional protocols to, again, ensure their safety during that time of donation. And in addition to relief and comfort for disaster survivors, the Red Cross is also offering a virtual family assistance center to support families struggling with loss and grief due to the ongoing virus. We offer information, referrals, and other services to support families in need. And to support the vaccination efforts currently going on in the county, we've been asked by the county health officers to allow our volunteers to assist them at some of the vaccination sites to keep that operation running smoothly. So to sum up, our community counts on the American Red Cross for help every day, and supporting our community is at the heart of what we do. Our work never stops, even in the middle of a pandemic. You know, help can't wait. So on behalf of our volunteers and those we serve, we want to thank the city of Clayton for everything that you've done to support the Red Cross in the past, in the present, and going forward. So again, thank you for allowing us to be on the agenda tonight. Thank you for the proclamation. It's very much appreciated.
Well, thank you. You're doing a great job. What is the fundraising situation right now, Stan? How's that going?
I didn't pay you to ask that, but that's a good question. The fundraising is, you know, we're all about the donor dollars. So I'm told, unlike other organizations, nonprofit organizations, we have probably one of the highest percentage of donor dollars going to the mission. I think it's around 90 to 93%. So we're constantly in a fundraising mode. In fact, during this month being, National Red Cross Month, we have our annual gala going on in San Francisco virtually, of course. And there's a huge fundraising effort going on right now. So anyone that wants to donate can always go to redcross.org and make a donation.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. And so we will declare officially March as American Red Cross Month in the city of Clayton. Encourage all Americans to support this organization in their noble humanitarian mission. So thank you very much, Stan. And we'll be sure to get that proclamation to you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and that rounds out our recognition segment. So we are going to go on to item 6, which is our report, starting with the Planning Commission. I thought I saw AJ Chip. Oh, there he is.
There I am.
And take that away.
Hello, council and staff. So the Planning Commission met on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, to vote for the resolution recommending the city deny without prejudice the proposed subdivision and development of the 6 detached single-family residents on the north side of Marsh Creek Road. This was APN-119-070-008. And by a vote of 3-0, we voted to deny the project, and that will be coming before you next. Commissioner Outlaw was not present due to family situation, and Commissioner Gavidia is recused from the project, so he did not participate in the vote. And that was it. The Planning Commission meets again on Tuesday, March 23rd. Check the city website for the agenda. Any questions?
Yes, where was Dalen?
We were here, but yeah, she was sitting there bouncing on a ball, but waiting to get on. So
Well,
Bring her back. Bring her back.
bring her back. Okay, Dalen.
And while you're doing that, it looks like Councilmember Diaz has his hand up.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Councilmember.
Give me your rationale for denying that project.
Well,
if I might jump in, that's going to be coming to the council. And so I think we'll just let it come to the council. And there was a resolution that the Planning Commission adopted. And so you'll see that when it comes to the council. But I'd prefer that we didn't have a discussion on that since you will be hearing it afresh when it comes to the council.
And just a heads up, I did the signed resolution is on the first floor of the conference room. I dropped it off last week. I saw it was there when I dropped off some more papers today for Janet. So, but anyway, hey, Dalen. Well, she's off playing Roblox or something.
Well, tell her some congratulations.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right. So we have no Trails Landscape Committee meeting was held. Now we'll go to city manager and staff.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I will say that we will, within the next couple of weeks, be hopefully having a Trails and Landscape Committee meeting. So as Laura is shaking her head, we will be getting that scheduled. They have completed their work on the review of prior spending, and so that will come forward. So they have been working diligently on that. The only other topic that I was going to cover this evening is, thankfully, as of Sunday, Contra Costa County, and now along with really much of the state, is in a slightly less restrictive tier when it comes to the state's requirements with respect to COVID. That means that we are on a very slow, deliberate, but positive path toward reopening. The City Hall will reopen to the public, just in terms of doors open, probably in about 2 weeks. We are available to take appointments now, and we'll be putting out more information on that. But just to let you know that there's not a huge difference in many ways between purple and red, but it is a step in the right direction. And Contra Costa County continues to do well relative to other counties with respect to vaccines. So we are continuing to push forward from that. And I know our county health folks have been just, burning the candle at all ends to try to get us through that. So we're very pleased to be able to make a little bit of progress with respect to COVID and to those restrictions. So little bit of extra light, and hopefully that will continue to develop in a positive direction. And that is my report for this evening.
That is encouraging that we're in the red tier, and hopefully we'll get to orange very soon. It's important for our local businesses, and Clayton's doing very well, right, with regard to our COVID stance, and people have taken care of themselves. So knock on wood, we get to the orange very soon, get through this whole thing. So thank you, Raina. Appreciate it. Okay. And now we have city council reports, and we'll start with Holly today. How's that?
Thank you, Mayor.
Uh-huh.
So it's been quite a busy couple weeks. Shortly after our last council meeting, I had a conversation or a brief meeting with the youth, the Gen Up East Bay Youth Speaks group that I spoke to all of you guys about. And I mentioned that several, the mayor from Concord, as well as a council member from Concord, Vice Mayor Clayton, and I were going to be participating in a forum coming up with them later this month, but that's been postponed now until May. Some more details to come. They're trying to iron out all of their kinks and get all of the youth town halls together. So we will be later in the year. I'll keep you guys apprised of that. I attended the mayor's conference that Thursday, along with, I think, everybody that's on here tonight. I was invited to speak for the Diablo View Middle School Career Day. So I'm putting together a video and answering some questions that some students from several classrooms have asked. And I will let you guys know when that's available. They wanted to know what the inner workings are of government life. I don't know why they asked me when I'm the newbie, but I volunteered to do it. So that should be interesting and fun. I also have been doing some volunteer liaison work as part of my liaison with the Mount Diablo Unified School District. I've been working on a lot of things behind the scenes for the last probably 5 weeks or so, talking to a lot of teachers and administrators and a couple of board members within the district, not just in Clayton, but all the schools that are in the district, just trying to figure out how to move our district forward. I know a lot of people have been working to get us open again, and I know a lot of you guys saw that message come through early this morning, that they reached a tentative agreement. I attended the special meeting that they just had this evening to find out how that was going, and they're going to have another special meeting this Friday to set the first date of pre-K through second grade, going back on the 25th of this month, and then 3rd through 12th coming back on the 25th. The older students will have to be in cohorts just so that they can split the classes. Some more details to come on that. After they iron all of that out this Friday, after all of the agreements are signed. But I did want to I gave Raina a heads up this morning just to let her know that it'll be a little bit busier once that does happen with the older kids. I know that back when we were in school before, you'd have the students walking downtown after school to meet the parents. So there will probably be a lot more traffic after school for any of those kids that are doing that, just to be aware of that. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending not one, but two celebrations for Clayton's first mayor, Bob Hoyer. All of us met him last week when we did a little thing for him. Was it last week or the week before? I'm getting my weeks mixed up now. Week before, right after our last meeting, or at our last meeting. Dominic Moresi of Moresi's Chop House and Ed's Mudville Grill wanted to really do something for Mr. Hoyer. And so he put together a socially distanced event in the parking lot that former Mayor Pierce and I had a small hand in. She had to get him there. There was a red carpet and all of his friends and people who wanted to come by and raise a glass to him. And Vice Mayor Cloven was there. I know that you wanted to be there, Mayor, but you had another appointment.
Yes, I was having my taxes done. Very exciting.
Yeah, like a root canal a little bit. Councilmember Diaz stopped by later in the evening, but it was good. It was a nice time to be able to celebrate him in person, socially distanced with masks on. Raina was there as well, which was nice for everybody to be able to meet her. And then we also had an event that former Mayor Pierce put on with Mr. Hoyer's children that was spectacular on Zoom. I must say she has command of the Zoom meetings with throwing in a lot of poll questions and making sure we didn't get bored and learning a lot of trivia, which was nice. So that was fun. And it was televised, or not televised, recorded. I'm not sure where that will be placed. Maybe we can put it on the council website somewhere, the city website, so people can view it at their leisure. That'd be great. I also attended some meetings with the city manager, as well as some prior council members and former mayors, just to learn about the history of the city. It's nice to get a lot of their perspective on why things were done the way that they were and kind of see the roadmap for how things came to be and get a little bit of that history. And I've done that with Vice Mayor Cloven a couple of times, which has been nice. What else? That's about it. I'll give you guys some time back. Oh, one more thing. I've had several conversations about the anti-racist library that we had brought to you. Cheryl Willis had brought that forward to us back in December, early January, and we're going to come back to you guys with a placement location if it's necessary. There's still some conversations taking place behind the scenes. The fundraising is still going on for that, but stay tuned, more to come. I just want you guys to know that that hasn't fallen through the cracks in case anybody's on the line wondering where that stands. That's still in the works, and that's all.
Terrific. Thank you. Councilmember Diaz?
Good evening. Yes, been a busy week or so between the last council meeting and this evening. First off, on Friday the 5th of March, as a representative of the Mayor's Conference of Contra Costa County, I am a board alternate member on the EBRICS, which is the East Bay Regional Communication Authority. We govern all of the communication services for first responders and police and so forth in Contra Costa and Alameda County. And the big news of the day for that is that the California Department of Justice is mandating some new technical upgrades particularly to the law enforcement communications system. For those of you that may not be aware of it, but on routine traffic stops and other things, the police officer will phone or call in to the dispatch center to request information about the individual that they are enacting a traffic stop. And the department is now concerned, the Department of Justice is concerned that some sensitive information could be broadcast over the police communication system because you never know what that individual has in their background. Could be anything. But anyway, to eliminate that potential of being broadcast, particularly to criminal offenders, they're instituting a program to encrypt all information coming across the radio system, which is going to cost approximately $400 per radio per department, which could be an expense for not particularly for Clayton, but for some others. And so that is getting a lot of debate right now because they've already begun requiring it throughout the state. Let's see. On Tuesday the 9th, I met with the consultant that the city manager is engaging to help and assist with the goals and objectives process that we will all be participating in, hopefully on the 20th of March. I too attended the reception for Bob Hoyer's 100th anniversary birthday on Thursday the 11th at the Chop House, and a very nice event. Got to spend time with Bob, as all of us that are very familiar with Bob and know him, quite alert and quite active at age 100. Followed up on Saturday with the virtual one that was included many of members of his family. But I want to point out one thing that took place on Saturday morning, and two of your representatives, Planning Commissioner Frank Gavidia and myself, participated with Contra Costa County, specifically the County Health Services Department, the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department, but the Contra Costa Fire Department, headed by Operations Chief Terry Carey and Branch Director from the East Bay or East Contra Costa County Fire, Ross McCumber. We assisted out at Los Medanos for a good part of the morning till noon, administering COVID-19 vaccinations at the new Los Medanos College Learning Center out in Brentwood. This was an amazing event. There were staff from all those departments: Contra Costa County Fire, East County Fire, the Contra Costa County Deputy Sheriff's Association, and Lieutenant Ryan Borkert, who was there representing them, as well as Ruth Reisner from the County Medical, administering more than 400 to 500 vaccinations. It was amazing. They had it so well coordinated. People had to have appointments. They came in from most of the East County. Frank and I are affiliated with the Morgan Territory Community Association and their CERT team. They, along with the Oakley CERT team, were part of the 30 to 40, maybe even more volunteers that helped, because it took quite a bit of coordination. People had to be driven in their cars to receive their inoculation and get some information from them. Then they were passed off to several of us that directed them either to a 30-minute observation area or a 15-minute based upon their criteria. But I'm telling you, you want to talk about rewarding. The people were so pleased, the residents out there, that all of this volunteer effort was brought to bear to help people get that COVID vaccination. I myself and my wife have been through both of the first and second Moderna vaccinations. We're still standing, And I'm telling you, I would encourage people to talk with their local primary care physician about their eligibility to receive those inoculation, those vaccinations. It is turning the tide. I can see it. I know that Carl mentioned it earlier, and I will tell you, we need to get down to orange and below. But that kind of an event is one where people get the vaccination. It's complimentary. It's well coordinated by the County Health Services Department. Very, very well received. And I know that they're going to do more throughout the county. Finally, on today, I met a couple of times with the city manager and the police chief to follow up on this encryption message that the Department of Justice is bringing upon us. Happy Thanksgiving. Excuse me. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
Yeah, and for all of you, for all you Irishmen. I know that when they go out in the Bible a little bit, to them every day is a holiday. But it's going to be a great event tomorrow. I know that several local businesses are going to have some, both the Chop House and the Mudville. So happy St. Patrick's Day. See you around the bend.
Thank you. Hey, Jim, if you don't mind asking a question, who funds those encryption? How does that get funded?
That's a good question at this point. Right now, it looks like it's going to be the individual department. For us, it would take, we have 11 vehicles. There's one radio in each one, plus they each have handheld. They have to be somehow, and it's unclear at this point. The sheriff of Alameda County, Greg Ahern, is the chairman of that committee. There may be some grant money available that will help offset the cost, but it's a public safety issue, not only for the officer, but also for the person being stopped by the police, that information about their home address and all this other stuff is broadcast on that frequency. And we don't want bad people to get that information because they are monitoring the frequencies. And so with this device, it'll encrypt it and they will not be able to get that information.
Thank you. Appreciate the report. And Peter, you're up.
Greetings. So I wanted to first thank Mayor Wolf and his putting together the Do the Right Thing campaign. It was refreshing to see our youth here with us in our meetings, even though it's virtually. I got to say, I hadn't met either Principal Fong or Principal Sanchez, but in meeting with them earlier on Zoom with Mayor Wolf, what delightful, diligent, excited, enthusiastic people. And they jumped in with both feet and totally embraced what we were doing as a city and felt it was awesome to bring to the students and their staff as part of who we are and putting our values out there to our students and our community. So thank you, Mayor Wolf, and thank you, principals, for being a part of that. I think the key word for me recently is onboarding. I didn't even know what that term meant, but I have been onboarded to the Contra Costa County Transportation Authority and to Transpac. And a real brief snapshot was what that is there were some funds from Measure J, which is our gas tax, which created this pot of money. And CCTTA, which is the Contra Costa County Transportation Authority, was born to help disperse those funds. But they didn't want to do it in a single county-wide way. They created 4 subdivisions within the county. We're the central division, which includes Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, Concord, and Martinez. So we're the central division, which is Transpac. So I'm Clayton's representative to Transpac, was the central division. And we talk about how those monies for gas taxes are going to be spent. And we look at transportation corridors like Ignacio Valley Road, Treat Boulevard, and even Clayton Road, which is considered a major arterial and getting to the freeway. And so we talk about how those monies are spent to help alleviate traffic. And it's pretty impressive. Julie was a part of that in the past, and it's pretty huge shoes to fill. But I'm seeing how important that is. And if anybody out there who's listening wants to talk about transportation or has some ideas how funds could be used in Clayton, I'm open because I'm your advocate to this source of funds. I also was at Bob Hoyer's 100th birthday. What an amazing man. it goes without saying. But my takeaway from the 100th birthday celebration was the people that came out to support him are old-time Clayton. We're talking people who have lived here for 40, 50, 60 years. And as a resident since 2006, I'm a newbie. I'm 14 years here. And so for me to say that I know everything Clayton is absolutely asinine. I need to talk to people like Jim Diaz, who's been here for a long time, and Bob. And I mean, there's a whole host of people who know Clayton. We need to know where we came from in order to figure out where we are, to also have that vision of where we're going to be. And in that sense, one of the things I've been involved with for the very deep, up to my elbows and knees in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, is our next housing element. And how do we know what's going on in the next housing element unless you study the last housing element? And I've spent hours. If you look at my draft copy of the last housing element, which was enacted in 2014 for the years 2015 to 2013, that document,
very entertaining reading.
It is exhilarating reading. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this up right now. In 2014, we were asked to zone for 141 housing units. That gave us heartburn and consternation. It also gave us the Olivia. And we were able at that time to, at the very, very, very most, figure out that we had the ability to zone for 274 units. That was back in 2014. Now, think about that. We had to zone for 114. We had the ability to zone for 274. This coming cycle, ABAG is telling us that the state is telling us that we have to zone for 570 units. That's 300 more than we thought was even capable in our town. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is kind of to give you a shot across the bow as Claytonians, is that what our challenges are going to be relative to the housing element in the next three years. This is not something that's way down the road. This is a can that we can't kick. We got to figure out what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be a part of and who we're going to be and how we're going to push back and when we're going to push back and how we're going to conserve Clayton's character. And there are going to be conversations in the future that come relative to the charrette, which you're going to be talking about in the future, but also relative to the RP we'll talk about later on in this agenda, which has community participation as well. And I just want to put it out there for you all to start thinking about it. I'm not advocating anything, but I want you all involved. And lastly, I was on a phone call today with Cal Cities, which was also known as League of California Cities. We're talking about the American Rescue Plan, which is what has been dubbed the most recent plan that was passed in Congress and signed by our president relative to COVID relief. It's aggressive, it's ambitious, and there's a lot of money, and it's coming to Clayton. Not just in your own pocketbook with $1,400, but it's coming to Clayton. Clayton's going to get a large chunk of change, which was not budgeted for as a part of this relief bill. And it's going to come in two parts, some part this year and some part next year. And we're going to have to spend it and figure out how to spend it relative to our needs and the guidelines of this COVID relief and the American Rescue Plan. That's good news. And we'll talk about that later at a future meeting. But I just want to let you know that that's coming to us. End of report.
Thank you. Okay. All right. I guess it's up to me now. I want to piggyback on what you said earlier with regard to meeting with the principals for Do the Right Thing. They were engaged and interesting and excited, and they had some really good ideas and these to change up some things for this small school year that we have now. So it was great to have them and to have the students with us today. Okay, I attended the mayor's conference, but I also attended the mayor's orientation conference, which was before that, earlier in the day. Got a chance to meet with some very long-term mayors and people from around the state. It was really quite informative. Got a lot of questions asked and answered. Some of the mayors that had met at various mayors conferences before COVID, and I was there just as a council person to observe, but it was great seeing a lot of the new mayors as well. So, and then I attended the mayor's conference. After that, we had a presentation from East Bay Mud and also about the electric car charging the grants that are coming down. So that was the main thrust of that meeting. Met several times with our city manager and the goal setting facilitator that we have for our goal setting session coming up next Monday. I too attended Bob Hoyer's Saturday birthday, his 100 plus 2 day birthday. He's I got to say, there's no question that Bob Hoyer is my favorite 100-year-old man that I know. No question. He's really very entertaining. I like him a lot. And I met with Concord Mayor McGallion on some ideas surrounding 4th of July. Looks like parades are not going to happen, so we'll report back to you on that later on down the road. But there's some interesting ideas there. Met with the owners of Oakhurst on the phone. Very entertaining meeting there. Had some back and forth with some citizens, and also had let's see what else. And with the Memorial Day Committee, I have another meeting with them coming up on Friday. Met with Council Member Diaz and Council and Vice Mayor Cloven. And then the other meetings that I had this week, the more important ones, I guess, is that I met with Assembly Member Grayson, which was a really good informative meeting talking about SB 9. And it's going to be a while before SB 9 gets to the Assembly, but I think that's where we're going to have our best chance to really make our case for what we would like to see done with that. I was hoping that my meeting with Senator Glazer, which was just the other day, was going to be encouraging, and I got to be honest with you, it was not. There is bipartisan support for SB 9 in the Senate, and it was written by the President Pro Tem, and it looks like that bill will probably get out of the Senate. So, like I said before, I left it with Assembly Member Grayson that we would meet again down the road when we can really start to fine-tune what comes out of that bill in the Senate. And I encourage everybody to keep an eye on that bill. We may need you to start writing some letters to your Congress people, and we'll need your support. So we'll be back to you on that. And I think that is my report for now. Okay. All right, moving on now to item number 7, the public comment on non-agenda items. If you would like to comment, you'll have 3 minutes. We'd like you to state your name if you don't mind, or at least let us know who you are. And again, these are non-agenda items. So Janet, do we have anyone in the queue with their hand up, or anyone on the phone?
Yes, Mr. Wolf, I have 4 people with their hand up. I'm going to first have Dee Vieira, followed by Emily. Dee, while I promote you to panelists, can you please unmute your microphone? And Dee, you are promoted. If you can please unmute.
I did.
Hello, Dee.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so for some reason my whole screen went away. I don't know what happened. But anyway, Dee Vieira here. I live in Dana Hills. I wanted to speak a little more about the cannabis topic. I know it is a pending agenda item, so thank you, Jim. And I thought I would share some food for thought on the issue until then. I find the topic very intriguing, and it has me doing a lot more reading. I've been reading up on neighboring city ordinances, mainly Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, and Martinez. I'm still looking at Concord, but I thought maybe Laura Hoffmeister can share a bit on the Concord ordinance when she has time. But in addition to allow 6 indoor plants, they also allow 6 outdoor plants, and it is outlined in their ordinances. And Martinez initially had a ban on the outdoor growth, but later revised their ordinance to allow it. And I believe some of the ordinance were quickly written after the passing of Prop 64, and it appears Clayton did too. It was named Urgency Ordinance 473, and it passed 4-0. I think it's important to note that the current council, with the exception of Jim Diaz, were not on the council at the time this ordinance was written and passed. So essentially, we have new ears on the topic. We also have 4 years time since the passing of Prop 64. So I think there is a lot we can learn since Prop 64 passed. I would like to suggest that our current council do some research of their own, and in addition, reach out to the neighboring cities and ask them questions about their marijuana ordinance. Why did they revise it, and were there any upticks in police activity since the passing of their ordinance? I look forward to a positive conversation on this topic, and I hope we can all learn more about it. I'd also like to note that if gathering signatures on this topic are being considered before considering an ordinance revision, I would like to advise against that idea, and my reason is because we already know how Clayton feels. Clayton voted 53.8% in favor of Prop 64, and the state voted 57.1% in favor. I don't think that means more than 50% of Clayton would start growing pot in their backyards. I think that Clayton educated themselves on the issue and made an informed vote. So to gather more signatures from the public to gauge a heartbeat on the topic, I feel would be redundant and unfair. Anyway, for what it's worth, thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Janet, who do we have next? Janet? I don't hear Janet at all, but...
Emily, if you could please unmute your microphone.
Okay.
Hi, I'm unmuted now. Can everybody hear me?
We can. Welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, members of the City Council, members of the public and staff. Really appreciate your opportunity to let me speak tonight. I work for Y Green Energy Fund. That's the word energy spelled backwards. We are a leading PACE finance company operating in the state of California and elsewhere. And we are working with a local property owner in Clayton on a project, a commercial project, and wanted to bring to your attention, hopefully to allow council to consider adding our PACE financing program to the city as far as a PACE option for your constituents, both residential and commercial property owners. A little bit about Y Green Energy Fund. We fund improvements to properties that allow for energy and water saving improvements, HVAC, water conservation, energy efficient windows, roof replacements, things like that. We also finance solar. We also finance battery storage. We also finance seismic retrofitting, electric vehicle charging, and now more importantly than ever, fire resiliency measures. So PACE is a way to enable property owners access to capital that allows them to make these important upgrades that are often expensive and otherwise out of reach. It helps them leverage the equity in their property so that they don't tap into credit-based means of borrowing or are eliminated or disqualified because of past credit. And it's a proven method that was established by the legislature over a decade ago in order for cities and counties to meet local climate action plan goals and economic development goals. Because of course, enabling property owners to make these important upgrades to their properties generates local jobs in the trades. Y Green Energy Fund has been a leader in PACE financing from the start. We have been in business for over 10 years. We're just celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And we have been approved in over 315 local jurisdictions in the state of California. We also happen to be the largest commercial solar PACE provider and commercial PACE provider in the state as well, which means that we finance more solar systems in the state than any other solar company out there. We also provide more access to financing for other very important commercial financing retrofits as well. And in particular, we serve the small and mid-sized business customer segment that is otherwise left unserved by existing competitors in Clayton and in other cities as well that have adopted other PACE programs. We don't have a high project minimum. Our project minimum begins at $10,000 and goes up to multi-million-dollar projects. And so I like to serve, I like to say that we serve Main Street, and we help local downtown districts and Main Street thrive with these options for financing. So I urge City Council to bring our program back at a future agenda date to vote and hopefully be approved so we can serve this project and other constituents in Clayton. Thank you.
Thank you. Made it just under the beep.
All right.
Janet, do we have...
Up next, I have Catherine Lewis. Catherine, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone. Emmy, you'll be next.
Catherine? Is Catherine unmuted?
Catherine is unmuted on my end.
Okay, I don't see, it doesn't say muted here either. Maybe we'll give Catherine a chance in a little while and go to our next person on the list here. And we'll bring Catherine back when she can get into the meeting.
All right, I will go ahead and promote Emmy. Emmy, as I promote you to panelist, if you can please unmute your microphone.
Oh, thank you for having me this evening.
Hello.
I just want to thank you for considering and taking what I have to say as an option for a positive change in our city. I'm interested in finding out why your city does not allow the cannabis to be cultivated outdoors within the private residence. When we look around at our neighboring cities like Walnut Creek and Pleasant Hill, Pittsburgh, they do allow it. So I personally have signed that petition to see if we could get that ordinance changed. So I'm hoping that you take a look into it and see if we can update it and make any changes to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emmy. And do we have Catherine? I see her on here twice. So,
hi, can you hear me this time?
Catherine.
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties.
We got
I'm
you.
Catherine Lewis. I was also hoping to speak about the Ordinance 473 regarding outdoor cannabis cultivation. Kind of piggybacking off what Dee was mentioning earlier, after Prop 64 was passed in 2016, Clayton City staff pushed an urgency ordinance which banned outdoor cannabis cultivation, despite Clayton having voted 53.8% in favor of Prop 64. So this is just something that I was hoping could be revisited with more input from the community and kind of a fresh look now that there's been a lot more time since the original proposition was passed. Also, prior Mayor David Shuey is in support of outdoor cultivation being allowed. And that's all I hope to see what comes of this and if there's any progress with this ordinance being revisited. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Glad you could get in this time. That's great. And Janet, we have another person in the queue. No? Two more? Let me just check that here. Okay, I see.
Yes, we do. I'm not sure what's going on with Janice. Oh, she's moved Doug Moore over. Okay, there we go.
So Doug Moore is, I'll wait for him to unmute.
Thank you. This is Doug Moore. I've met several of you, and I've known Laura for a couple of years. I'm one of the owners with my partner, Grant Alvarez. I believe Grant's probably online with us also. We're the new owners as of 2 years ago at the Oakhurst Country Club. We have been in business for the past 12 or 13 years. We're both residents of Walnut Creek. I am up at Oakhurst every day for usually, 6 to 8 or even 10 hours a day. We're doing lots of improvements up there, as again, some of you already know. We're grateful to talk to you guys today. We are submitting this solar project. We're working with a company right now, Y-Green. You just heard from Emily a few minutes ago. They have this PACE program, and it's obviously giving us more financing options than we would otherwise be able to probably, do this. And so we're excited about that possibility of working with them. Again, we're just looking to hopefully push forward on the city council. I think getting Y Green back to the city council for consideration so we could get this local project done. We've got a place on our golf course that literally I don't think any homes or residences or people can see without working hard at it. We gave up on a couple of locations because there were 60 or 70 homes that were looking right up at the hill that might have the panels. So we're doing everything we possibly can to be good citizens. We like this green initiative. I know some of you are reasonably favorable on it. And so we just hope we can move this forward expeditiously without delay as, this will save our utility costs, probably cut them in about half, which would be a very big deal for us. So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate being on this call, and I hope this can move us forward.
Thank you, Doug. It was good talking to you the other day, too.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, and I think we have one more. Yes. Michael Lewis.
Hello?
Hello. It doesn't sound like Michael. It sounds like maybe Jenny.
Sounds like Michael Lewis. Hi, this is Jenny. My comment today is to address city's ordinance process, especially for your urgency ordinance number 473 that took place on 2016, December 20th. After I look into further, and I just realized that there is some potential filing error. So to get it clear, there are two propositions regarding cannabis use and cultivation. One is Prop 64. Prop 64 is for recreational and commercial use and cultivation of cannabis. Another one is Prop 215. It's for medical use and cultivation, also known as Compassionate Care Act of 1996. And Prop 74, which gives the local city government right to regulate the cannabis use and cultivation after Prop 64 passed. But in Clayton's ordinance, during that urgency ordinance meeting, Mindy Gantry, she was the community development director back then. All she talked about is the Prop 64 for personal and commercial use. And then that's what the city council decide to ban personal and commercial use and cultivation for cannabis. The entire meeting has nothing to do with Prop 215, but currently the city ordinance, I think is 17.95.020 include the medical cultivation and use, which is wrong because the state law says 215, no any other law can alter Prop 215. And I really think that the ordinance was filed incorrectly. So I think this needs to be looked into it. And also, I would like to ask if there is, it's 2021. If moving forward, if the city has, and if we need to change a new ordinance or we want to propose a new ordinance, can the city create a better channel for people to discuss, like to get the community involved using social media? Because doing this like old-fashioned petition thing, it's really very time-consuming and counterproductive. I mean, we all work. We don't, everybody all work. We don't really have time to do this. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Doesn't appear like we have anyone else in the queue, correct?
Oh.
We're going to close the public comment. Right, Janet? We're no one else in the queue here, right? All right. Okay. Okay, so we'll close the public comment period, and we have no public hearings today, and we'll move on to our action items. Action item A, adopt a resolution adopting the City of Clayton salary schedule effective January 1st, 2021, conformance with CalPERS requirements to provide a public available salary schedule. And the city manager is going to tell us what all that means.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. Yes, this was an item that was essentially introduced to you at our last council meeting. As the title states, CalPERS requires the council to take a single action to adopt the entire salary schedule, and then for the city to make that schedule publicly available on our website. Our schedule is in fact already available on our public website, and all of the underlying agreements, MOUs, et cetera, for this salary schedule have already been put in place. So there isn't any budgetary impact. There's no changes in salaries. There are no additional impacts of this. But we do need to have council action to adopt the salary schedule as a whole so that we can have that resolution in addition to the salary schedule itself. There will be a correction on the final version of the resolution to correct the date. It still said March 2nd instead of March 16th, so we will correct the date. It carried forward that its last little date, and so we will correct that. But other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the schedule.
Council, any questions for Raina? This is something that the Budget Committee has already taken a look at. And I see Holly is shaking her head yes, and they've had some in-depth conversations about it. But if anybody have questions, I don't see any from the council. Go to the public. Anybody have questions on this item?
I don't see any, and I think Janet's having some. She's having some computer phone issues, so I'm going to speak on her behalf unless she's able to start talking again.
Okay, so we'll close that public comment. Bring it back to the council. Any further questions or motions?
Move approval, Jim Diaz.
Jim Diaz, number one, and looks like Peter is second that. Okay, Janet or Raina as Janet, call the roll for the votes, please.
Unless Janet starts to talk, I'm going to call the roll and Janet's going to record it because I can picture her on the, it says connecting to audio. I'm going to start and hopefully she will connect and we'll be able to move forward. And I'm going to do it. I apologize if it's in. Oh, okay, Janet, can you speak now? No? Gotta love technical difficulties. All right, Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cloven.
Aye.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Janet Raina.
Passes.
Okay. Moving on to action item B, now authorizing the release of a request for proposal, RFP, for the housing element update. And again, Raina will tell us what that's all about.
Okay, thank you very much. So Vice Mayor Cloven mentioned this briefly in his comments, but it is time for us to embark on a very important and very significant project for Clayton and all cities really in Northern California. Southern California is just wrapping up this process. As the report provides quite a bit of background, state has passed a tremendous amount of housing legislation over the last several years. There's really been an incredible focus on housing density, housing need, et cetera. And as we're getting to the end of the current, as we refer to it, RHNA cycle, Regional Housing Needs Assessment, RHNA cycle, which ends in 2023, then we need to be moving forward with figuring out how we're going to accommodate our RHNA numbers for the next cycle. So we're coming to the end of an 8-year cycle. We'll be starting a new 8-year cycle. And in the current cycle, we were required to have zoning capacity and density to handle at least 141 units with a breakdown across different income categories. What we think will be final numbers from ABAG for the upcoming RHNA cycle is 570 units, which is a significant increase over the 141. And we are not alone. All communities are really facing this kind of increase, both all across the state, really. But what we're seeing in the Bay Area is we're all getting ready to move into this RHNA update process. So last time in 2013 and 2014, the council approved an agreement with a consultant for those services. And we're recommending that we do the same this time. This will be a more expensive contract because the world has gotten dramatically more complex. The rules, requirements, state housing legislation has all increased. How challenging it may be to put the puzzle pieces together, plus the numbers are significantly greater. And I think the desire to have the kind of public input we want is also greater. And so the recommendation before you this evening is to do what many other communities around us, Concord, Piedmont, Moraga, et cetera, issue an RFP for us to bring on a consultant to update this housing element. We do have about $85,000 in grant funding that is available to fund a portion of the cost. Based on my conversations with other jurisdictions, both similar in size and larger than Clayton, I think the cost is likely to be in the $200-ish thousand range. We're seeing for the larger communities, 300 plus. Or more, including up to twice that much with environmental work. And so the recommendation will be to essentially set aside up to $150,000 in the rainy day fund. There is sufficient funding to cover the rest of that cost. The process will be that the RFP will be issued tomorrow. We have a list of consulting firms who do this kind of work, plus we'll make it available on our website. And the RFP responses will be due April 23rd, and then it would be our goal to have it on the City Council agenda for May 4th, if I have my dates correct, the first meeting in May. And so then we kick off and start running. One of the other things that we will be doing with this process is we will be dovetailing it with our conversations about the downtown property. So we're about to launch some online education and input gathering on the downtown property with our consultant, MIG. And then once we've selected a housing element consultant, we will bring those two processes together so that they complement one another. The existing downtown property was identified as a potential housing site in 2014, and so it's still on the table for that purpose. And we need to make sure that the context of needing to have a compliant housing element is part of the conversation about that downtown parcel because we have to get to 570 and we may need every piece of property that we can for that purpose. The last thing I'll add is that it is important for us to have a compliant housing element. There are a variety of consequences to not having it. There are fines, and there's the potential loss of revenue from other state funding sources. I don't think that's all been defined yet, but I think we can take a clue as to how the state is viewing it. And the governor has just stood up within HCD an entire unit focused on compliance. So where perhaps they haven't had quite as toothy a response to compliance in the past, I don't think they're planning to back off in any way on this. And we are going to be able to define what that what that consequence would be in terms of the financial impact. And that will have to be part of the conversation as well, because it's really important for us to move forward. And this is a significant component in looking at the future vision for what this community is going to look like and how we want to shape those conversations. And so with that, I respectfully request that we release the RFP. We will bring it back to you with the funding recommendation. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And that the 570 isn't set in stone yet, but it's going to be close to that no matter what, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first number was like 640. It came down to 570. I would expect it to stay similar. I don't expect it to go down much.
Okay. Yes, Holly, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Raina. I do have a couple just clarifying questions. The timeline, you mentioned the beginning of May bringing it back.
Yes.
So is that not the June 4th timeline? Let me go back. It looked like it comes, are we approving it before the contract is negotiated? I guess is my question.
The timeline.
Looks like the interview the consultants.
Oh,
May 10th.
That is a mistake.
So are we doing this in June instead of May?
No, my goal is to, oh, look at that. I gave myself way more time in this document than I intended. No, and I must not have corrected that, but my goal is actually to fast track that process, get them selected and bring it back in May.
Okay.
So if that is acceptable to the council, I will make that change to the RFP. But my goal is to push it forward. It's a standard professional services agreement. The RFP template was based on the ABAG had put together a sample RFP template. I used almost all of that, so the consultants have seen it all. It should all look very familiar to everybody who's looking at it, because every community in the Bay Area is working on this. And I'd really like to push that faster so that we can bring it together with that downtown property. So thank you for that.
Okay. So that's moved up to May. That's good, because I was going to ask how long the process normally takes. Is the timeline usually a couple of months for them to complete all of this work with doing their, it's longer than that?
Months.
Okay.
Yes. So if we work backwards, it is our goal to bring it to the council in November or October of 2022. And it will go to the Planning Commission before that. And then there'll be a round of public comment and some council and Planning Commission before that. So it will take us more than a year to get that done. And last time and it was much simpler the last time, the contract was approved on, it was either March or May, and it was the following November so very similar time frame to what we're talking about here. Is the work should be complete by November of 2022. We need to turn it into the state. The deadline is actually January 2023, but we're not going to run it. I don't know that my blood pressure can stand if we run it right up to the last moment. So my goal is to have it to the council in very late 2022.
Okay. And then thank you for that. That was helpful, because I thought that sounded awfully quick. So about 18 months sounds like it's about the timeline. So then when I was looking through here, it looks like there's additional costs if you add on optional things. For example, if we have to rezone, you ask them to add in the additional costs. Do we think that the total of about $235,000 is enough? I mean, I know we have limited rainy day funds. But I'm just curious if we do need more than the 2 meetings that you have requested or that come standard. It looks in here like you've asked them to let you know what the proposal is if they have to add on more meetings. So that sounds like there'd be possible increased pricing for that and possible increased pricing for the rezoning. I'm just wondering if we have enough of a buffer in what you've requested.
I hope so. And not all of the rezoning has to be done at the time that the plan is adopted. Now, it makes sense to do it because then you're done and you can finally just breathe a sigh of relief. However, there is a process by which you can basically commit to rezone within a 3-year period, and you don't have to complete the rezoning. There's also environmental work that goes along with different components of this, and depending on how far, how much of the rezoning we do, the environmental work will get triggered at a certain point. And so the RFP is written to have those as alternates so that we have some choice points about how much we're going to set aside now versus how much we think we might need in the future once we see that. My hope is that 235 number will get us actually pretty far. Okay. The base work without all of the add-ons is probably more like 100 to 130. Okay. But my fear was, boy, we're going to have rezoning and environmental and more meetings. And suddenly it was like, whoa, because the first consultant I talked to, they were like, yeah, small city, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh no, that's not going to be enough. So that was my point for the recommendation. I will be ecstatic if I can bring in a significantly lower recommendation to the council with the contract, but I wanted to try to set an expectation that was sort of reasonable, but not like overly optimistic that we're going to be able to do just the least amount of work possible.
Okay. Okay. And then it looks like then the rainy day fund in our last meeting was about $508,000, which means if we're going to use 150 of that, we'd have a little bit more than 350 remaining in that for future projects, one-time expenses. Okay.
That's correct. Okay. At this point, yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And to the council, the last time we did go out for doing our housing element, we did it as the city manager is kind of indicating, kind of a two-step approach. We did the housing element update first, and any rezoning kind of came in little bits and pieces later. And as you had your last project, you reviewed Diablo Meadows. They had rezoning included in their application, so they took care of it themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have some questions here on the council?
I just want to say that in reviewing the RFP, there is a strong community participation component aspect associated with this. And just speaking personally, those people who want to know and want to be involved, this is an opportunity to be involved. What I want to prevent as much as possible is the lessons learned from the last housing element that was passed is that people say, I didn't know. This is our opportunity as council members, and city staff to really get the word out there as loud, as often as possible, to get as many voices as possible. And so I don't mind the padding to allow for that. So thank you, Rana.
It is a very important part of having the they talk in here about how it should be easy to understand, and I think this is going to be a very complicated issue. So I'm hoping that they're true to their words with regard to this outreach process. I know they're calling these generally when they talk about stakeholder focus group, just one stakeholder focus group. Is that enough? And who are the actual stakeholders? How are they identified?
Terrific question. One may not be enough. Stakeholders typically would go through a process to identify them, but sort of housing advocacy groups and environmental groups and, neighborhood associations and, so looking for not as much individuals, but kind of stakeholder groups who you can bring to the table to gain some information, but community meetings and online tools both will be used as other sources of information because we really do want to cast a very wide net.
Thank you. Jim, or you have anything? Any questions? No?
I'm sorry, were you addressing me?
Yeah, I just wanted to see
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. All right. In that case, we'll go to the public. I didn't see any hands, but maybe somebody came in when I wasn't looking. No?
Mayor Wolf, there's nobody with their hand raised on this item.
Okay, we'll close that public comment and bring it back to the council now. And any more discussion, or do we have a motion?
I move to the RFP out there and getting a consultant on board.
I'll second.
So we have Cloven first and Tillman second, and Janet, please. Hey, you're there. We can hear you. Call the vote, please.
Yes, I apologize for technical difficulties, and I thank you, City Manager Swartz, for taking over. So Councilmember Diaz.
Yes.
Councilmember Tillman.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cloven.
Aye.
And Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and that passes. Okay. Yes, Raina, did you have something? No?
Just a thank you for your support, and we will get that RFP out there.
That's an important thing, I think. Okay. All right. Moving on now to council items limited to requests for directives for future meetings. Anybody have something they want to bring up down the road? Yes, Jim?
Yeah. We acted on a matter a meeting or two ago relative to the denial of a action that a property owner took based upon a tree that the city owns that fell on her property. And I've gotten a lot of input from concerned citizens, as well as I started looking into it with the staff today, particularly the city manager. And I'm going to request that at some point, not immediately, but I would like to discuss this again and take a look at the whole issue at a future meeting. I think in retrospect, I think we owe the property owner a better decision. Don't know what that is at this point, and it could be fashioned through some work, but I think we need to, at least from my perspective, and based upon some of the calls that I've received and some of the discussions that I've had, I'd like to take another look at it. So ask the request for a future meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right. So closed session, we have none. And that means we are adjourned until our next meeting, which is on April 6th, right here on Zoom. Don't drink and drive. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day. Good night.